Hello, in this video we'll show you the location and how to remove and replace the two intake manifolds on Audi A4 A5 and A6 with a 2.7 TDI and 3-liter TDI engines. The car that I'll be replacing the intake manifolds on is Audi A6 C6 4F with a 3-liter TDI engine. This engine has two intake manifolds because it's a V6 engine, one on each side. First, we'll start by removing the air intake pipe. The air intake pipe is held by 10 or 12 T30 Torx bolts. We need to remove them. If the video is useful, please like and comment on the video and subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. Next, we're going to remove the vacuum lines from the EGR and from other parts, and then we're going to move the vacuum lines to the side so that we don't break them. We're also going to remove the EGR solenoid valve, which is right there. So now that the vacuum lines are released, we're going to put them to the side. There is another solenoid valve over there on the front of the engine that we'll need to remove. Now we'll remove this bolt holding the air intake hose, and next we're going to remove the two bolts holding the EGR line to the air intake. Now that we've removed the EGR line, there is a seal over there that we need to remove, a gasket, and now we can take out the air intake pipe. Next, we're going to remove the swirl flap motor. First, we're going to disconnect the electrical connector. There is also on the back this, I don't know what it's called, kind of like a stick that opens the swirl flaps. And also there is 3 bolts as well. Yeah, we need to remove this thing. We just need to disconnect it. I'm going to be using 1 or 2 screwdrivers to take it out. and the swirl flap motor is out. Next, we're going to remove the other swirl flap motor. We'll do exactly the same thing. Next, we're going to remove the heat shield for the turbo. It's held by two Torx bolts, and then we lift it out. Next, we need to remove the two intake manifolds. This is the first one over there, and that's the second one there. They're held by 8 bolts, Allen key size 6, 8 bolts each. We need to remove them. Before being able to remove this left intake manifold, first this coolant line is on the way, so there is a bolt, it's like a banjo bolt, which is down there that we need to remove. In order to get, we don't need to remove it, we only need to get it loose so that the coolant line gets loose. And when the coolant line gets loose, we'll be able to push it a little bit to the side so that we can remove the intake manifold. There is not much space to remove it, but when you push a little bit the intake manifold to the side and with a long extension, you'll be able to get it eventually. And when you get it, now you see how it gets, how the coolant line becomes loose so that we can remove the intake manifold. That's enough space to remove the intake manifold. Next, we're going to remove these two Torx bolts so that we can remove this thing that holds the EGR valve and the EGR solenoid. We're gonna remove them so that we can make more space for to remove the intake manifold. Now that everything is removed, we can take out the intake manifold. We'll try and push the manifold to the back and take it out from the back. And that's the left intake manifold out. Next, we're going to put a cloth on over the cylinder head so that no contamination gets into the cylinders. Next, to start removing the right intake manifold, there is again 8 Allen key bolts that we need to remove. Here on this side of the intake manifold, there is still again another, that's this time an oil line that is in the way, so we need to loosen this bungee bolt right there in order to get this oil line loose. Yeah, I think now it's loose enough, so we'll be able to take out the manifold. Next, to remove this thing that holds the engine cover. Next, we're going to remove this fuel line that's over the engine. We need to remove this thing, this nut as well, and another nut on the other side. When we remove that, we'll be able to take out the manifold. If we don't remove it, we won't be able to take out the manifold. We could have taken out the fuel line even before we removed the left manifold, but we managed to remove the manifold without removing it, or without removing the fuel line, so now we need to remove it definitely. And that's the fuel line removed. Next, to get this hose loose from the electrical connection, and we're not going to disconnect it, just to get it loose so that we can lift it up a little bit to be able to take out the intake manifold. And now that everything is loose, we can pull out the intake manifold. We're going to remove it from the front. And that's the right intake manifold out. Hopefully the video was helpful. Thank you for watching.